Hello and assalamualaikum. So today we will be talking about the effects of ionizing radiation towards human skin.
Ionizing radiation is a kind of energy that releases by the travel atoms in the form of electromagnetic waves such as gamma rays and X-rays, and also beta, alpha, and neutron particles. It also forms the radioactivity and the excess energy emitted. The disintegrate of unstable elements and emitted ionizing radiation forms radionuclides. Natural radiation comes from so many sources, including a few number, which originally occurring radioactive materials that are found in soil, water, and air. It could be a radioactive gas like radon, which comes from the natural decay of uranium that is found in soil. It could be the radioactive soil and rocks, also the plants. Cosmic rays also an example of natural radiation that people are exposed to. Cosmic ray is a high-speed particle that travels throughout the galaxy named Milky Way galaxy, including the solar system. There are also a human-made sources set out from the nuclear power generation to medical uses of radiation for diagnosis or treatment. Nowadays, the most popular human-made sources of ionizing radiation are medical devices, including X-ray machines, televisions, and more. Radiation exposure could be internal or external and can be gained through many pathways of exposure. Internal exposure happens when radioactive materials within the body decay as they emit radiation within the body, either through ingestion, which is absorption through the digestive tract, or inhalation, the absorption from the lungs and the surface of airways. External exposure may happen when the exposure of the body from radiation originating outside the body. The radiation comes from outside, such as radiation generator, the buildings, ground, suspended matters, or even from outer space and the sun.
Now I will be explain the disadvantage of ionizing radiation toward human skin. First is skin burn. Skin burn can be happen when there is high amount of X-ray radiation during medical imaging or radiotherapy. This was cause of high exposure of X-ray radiation toward the skin or by wrong implementation of radiation procedure or improper use of radiation when treating. Second is acute radiodermatitis. Acute radiodermatitis is a burn injury that varies in severity according to both treatment and inherent patient factor and will give damage to the skin cell. Acute radiation dermatitis can be happen in many factors such as radiation treatment for cancer, exposure during angiography, or accidental occupation exposure. Third is cancer. The high exposing of radiation causes the DNA inside the cell of our body damage and some of DNA sequence in that cell will be changed. Some study of genome cancer is made, and by comparing the DNA sequence between the patient with cancer that never exposed to the ionizing radiation, they found there are two signs of mutational DNA sequence of the patient who ever exposed to the radiation. So therefore, this mutational signature clearly explain how the high exposure of ionizing radiation cause the DNA damage. And last is chronic radiation skin injury. The patient who have skin injury because of the radiation will delay the wound healing, and they also will delay the ulcer of the skin. Some of them will have fibrosis and also telangiectasia. The symptom is the patient will feel the pain, itching, and have some thread-like red mark on skin. That's it from me. Thank you.
Who is it that is high likely to get skin injury? We are exposed to radiation every day, but from natural sources such as background radiation which exists on Earth daily. These sources came from minerals and tiny bits of fraction from the man-made materials. So, in this topic, we will be discussing about who or which group of people that is high likely or most likely to get skin injury. Based on a research article, there has been a trend on skin cancer issues in a bunch of workers with various backgrounds who've been exposed to ionizing radiation during their work time at low dose rate. Few professions that to be mentioned that have radiation exposures are medical radiology technicians, underground hard rock miners, air crews, construction worker, farmers, lead tracing professions, surgeons, and those who work in nuclear industry. These occupational ionizing radiation exposure workers have higher chance in developing skin injury or skin cancer related sickness. Let's look deeper into these professions and see why they are exposed to ionizing radiation at higher rate than any other people. Medical radiology technicians perform procedures of diagnostic imaging daily, such as X-ray examinations, MRI scans, and CT scans on patients. The risk of getting skin cancer is directly proportional to the number of scans they perform during their profession years. Therefore, it is essential to every medical radiology technologist to always take safety measurements when handling the procedures. Next, aircrews such as the pilots and flight attendants have a higher risk of skin cancer, according to studies. Every month, all year, the flight crews spend countless hours flying 35,000 feet above the Earth. All this time spent at high altitudes have been linked to an increased risk of skin cancer in pilots and flight attendants. The higher you rise into the Earth's atmosphere, the higher ultraviolet UV rays you are exposed to. One study showed that flying for less than 1 hour at 30,000 feet had the same UVA carcinogenic radiation exposure as a 20-minute tanning bed session in the pilot seat of an aircraft engine. Therefore, the aviation organizations have been discussing on skin cancer prevention topic as pilots and flight attendants exposed to various types of cancer, including skin cancer than most people. Mentioning about long-time sun exposure professions, farmers, boaters, lawn care professionals, construction workers are the other jobs associated with higher risk of getting skin injury. Based on an article of an Australian perspective, non-melanoma skin cancer is a common cancer to those works under agricultural field. With climate forecast of hotter and longer heat waves, Australia has the highest incidence of skin cancer in the world and will be increasingly vulnerable to higher rates of skin cancer in the future. And farmers are one of the country's campaign focus as their occupation requires them to be under the sun for a long time. Therefore, we can see there are bunches of professions that put the workers at higher risk of getting skin cancer than the other professions. Those who work under high sun exposure for a long time is advised to wear protective clothing against the sun. Sun protective clothing and caps are specially made to keep you covered from the sun. Collars, long sleeves, and thumb holes are common features of a sun protective shirt to cover the backs of your neck. A sun hat with long brim will shield the neck and ears from the sun, as will other features such as Legionnaire flap. It uses fabric that are lightweight, moisture-wicking, and breathable to make it easier to wear in humid, sunny conditions, as in addition to the excellent UPF 50+ rating. That's all from us. Thank you for watching.